The film starts by showing us a unique interpretation of hell. It's not a distant, fiery pit, but rather a place located within a city, specifically in a tower. This is where the devil resides, and he's not the traditional figure with cloven hooves we often imagine. Hell is also a workplace with several employees whose task is to tempt humans into wrongdoing. Their business is booming, especially in the latest cities. However, in smaller towns, it's a different story. The devil is upset because the level of wickedness in a place called Birkenburn has dropped by 15% this year. His daughter Lilith aspires to be a field representative to spread evil, but she's not allowed to do so because she's under 18. At one point, she ties up her teacher and bullies people online. Her father eventually enters her room and allows the teacher to continue teaching about the deadly sins and how to use them to lead humans away from virtue. The devil asks Lilith a question about how to make humans feel envy. She answers well, but he reminds her that magic is forbidden and that it's all about temptation. He decides that her teacher should be stricter. Lilith is somewhat of a problem for her father because she constantly rebels and expresses her desire to go to Earth. One night she approaches her sleeping father, scared but determined, with the same request. Fed up with Lilith's incessant pleas, the devil proposes a deal. He offers to send her to Earth for a week with the mission to corrupt a person. If she succeeds, she'll be reassigned to a different job. However, if she fails, she'll be banished to hell forever. Lilith finds this punishment for his own child to be severe, but she doesn't question him, considering he is the devil. She decides to accept the challenge and agrees to the deal. The following day, they ascend to Earth and head towards their destination. Lilith anticipates that the house will be a luxurious penthouse or something similar, but it turns out to be quite ordinary. She is then introduced to her target, a girl named Greta Bernstein. Greta is a gentle, introverted girl who lives with her parents and two younger sisters who seem to be the nicest people in the world. Greta enjoys doing her homework and occasionally sings for fun. Greta doesn't have an ounce of malice in her, making Lilith's task particularly challenging. Before Lilith departs, the devil instructs her to avoid any physical contact with humans. He also gives her a black ball that will change colors if she starts to become emotional. Lilith is scheduled to live with the Bernstein family for the upcoming week. As she meets them, Greta rushes to embrace her, but Lilith avoids the hug, claiming she has a cold. Greta's mother then attempts to hug Lilith as a welcome gesture, but Lilith resists and pretends to sneeze. Before leaving, her father reminds her of the rules. Lilith expresses her disgust at the family's excessive kindness and asks her father to change the challenge, but he doesn't comply. He disregards their greetings and Lilith covers for him, saying he's shy. Once they're back home, the family enjoys a loving breakfast together. After eating, they all pitch in to clear the table, which makes Lilith feel sick due to their extreme niceness. She intentionally drops the plates and blames Greta. Lilith expects Greta to react, but instead, Greta apologizes and accepts the blame. She's too kind-hearted to defend herself, and her parents reassure her not to worry. This means Lilith needs to come up with a different strategy to corrupt her. In the evening, Lilith asks about Greta's social life and learns that she doesn't have any friends because she's seen as a nerd at school. Lilith also tries to make Greta envious by showing her a beautiful dress that Greta can't afford, but this plan also fails. In an effort to learn more about Greta, Lilith explores her room and discovers numerous photos of a boy hidden in her closet. Pleased with her discovery, Lilith cunningly devises a plan to use this boy as a means to corrupt Greta. The next day, they head to school. Lilith refuses to ride a bicycle, but Greta suggests they could take the school bus, even though she's afraid of being bullied there. On the bus, Eddie, the principal's son, bullies everyone, including Greta, by sticking chewing gum in her hair. When he tries to insult Lilith, she retaliates by setting his hair on fire. Lilith hopes that Greta will feel satisfied seeing her tormentor punished, but Greta expresses concern for Lilith instead. Greta's inherent goodness begins to irritate Lilith, who gets distracted by a boy named Samuel. Samuel is seen on the school's rooftop, threatening to jump. He climbs down when the principal feigns a call to the firefighters. Greta mentions that Samuel often engages in such peculiar behavior. Later that day, the girls have a maths test. Lilith resorts to cheating using her iPad and attempts to persuade Greta to do the same. However, Greta refuses to cheat as she already knows all the answers. During the school break, two popular girls, Melody and Daria, make sarcastic remarks about Greta's attire. When questioned, Greta admits that she's accustomed to being ridiculed, so it no longer affects her. At that moment, Lilith spots the boy Greta is smitten with. Greta blushes and reveals that the boy's name is Carlo, a DJ known for his womanizing ways. He only interacts with the popular girls and has never recognized Greta. Seeing Greta's affection for him, Lilith hatches a plan. While Greta is preoccupied, Lilith strikes a deal with Carlo to date Greta for 3 days and then break up with her. Lilith believes that the breakup will inevitably anger Greta. After negotiating with Carlo, he accepts her proposal. Lilith pays him part of the agreed amount and promises to give him the rest once he completes his task. She then catches sight of Samuel, the class clown, who walks away while grinning at her. She follows him to a secluded alley where they both smoke. Back at school, Carlo invites Greta to the music rehearsals the next day. Lilith and Samuel are confronted by Eddie and his gang, who are angry at Samuel for stealing their watch. To avoid them, Samuel climbs onto the roof. When they attempt to lay hands on Lilith, she fights them off, causing them to flee. An impressed Samuel takes her to the roof of a church to enjoy the sea view. As she takes in the scenery, he kisses her. Caught off guard by his sudden action, she pushes him away and rushes back home. For the first time, Lilith is disconcerted and unsure of her feelings. Regarding, Greta questions Lilith about whether she's in love. Lilith laughs off the idea, believing that devils are incapable of love. However, when she glances at the black ball, it begins to shift colors. She receives a call from her father, who reveals that devils can indeed fall in love. Devils who fall in love are deemed unproductive and are dismissed from their duties. Lilith quickly ends the call and resolves to be more cautious in the future. While the family is relaxing after dinner, she casually brings up Greta's upcoming date with Carlos. Greta's parents are thrilled about their daughter's maturation, which makes Greta feel uneasy. The following day, Lilith gives Greta a makeover to impress Carlos. However, Greta's mother, Sybil, disapproves of her wearing revealing outfits. Lilith argues that Greta should be free to wear what she likes, but Sybil insists on her wearing one of the knitted outfits that often subject Greta to ridicule. At school, Melody and Daria taunt them about their outfits. Since they can't change their clothes, Lilith devises another plan to outshine the bullies. She starts a rumor that Sybil's knitted outfits are the latest fashion trend. She takes flattering photos of Greta in the dress and shares them online. Subsequently, she creates a fake website featuring supermodels wearing knitted dresses and presents it to the bullies. In order to follow the latest fashion trend, the girls praise Greta's dress and plead with her to get them one. Greta is thrilled to finally be accepted by the popular girls. Meanwhile, Samuel invites Lilith to go out with him, but she informs him that she's occupied. However, when he offers to take her to the beach, she can't resist, as it's always been her dream to experience the sea up close. Consequently, she's ecstatic when they arrive. The two of them frolic around, thoroughly enjoying their time together. For the first time in her life, Lilith experiences genuine happiness and tranquility. Back at school, Greta attends Carlos's band rehearsal and encounters Melody and Daria. They're practicing a song for an upcoming school event. Greta observes that the girls' singing pitches are conflicting, so she timidly suggests they lower their voices. Impressed by her musical knowledge, Carlos invites her to join the band. The girls aren't thrilled to sing alongside her, but they accept her nonetheless. Together, they form an excellent team and produce harmonious music. However, their practice session is interrupted by a teacher who announces that their performance has been cancelled due to a risque music video Melody and Daria shared online. In the meantime, Samuel and Lilith are relaxing on the beach, engaged in various conversations. Lilith receives a text from her father, but chooses to ignore it, preferring to savor the moment. Eventually, they share a kiss and make plans to go to the movies later. On their way, they pause to buy ice cream, during which Lilith notices multiple texts from her father. She responds that she's fine and a little occupied. Afterwards, she observes several couples nearby and realizes she's straying from her original plan. When Samuel returns with 2 ice cream cones, she abruptly leaves without giving any reason. Meanwhile, as Carlos and Greta are walking home from school, Carlos asks her if she would like to become a permanent member of the band. Greta is unsure about the proposal because Melody and Daria don't seem to like her. her. Samuel praises her singing and expresses his desire to have her in the band. They lean in for a kiss, but are interrupted when Greta's father pulls up in his van. A flustered Greta gets into the vehicle and they drive home. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, she breaks down in tears while Lilith attempts to comfort her. For the first time, Lilith finds herself feeling sympathy for Greta. She notices that the black ball she carries has altered its color, indicating that she's becoming sentimental. When Greta inquires about the purpose of the ball, Lilith dismisses it as a thermometer. Later, while they're gardening, Lilith informs Greta that her father will take her away in 2 days due to a failed mission. She also mentions that she's supposed to be evil, but she doesn't disclose her true identity. Greta is puzzled as to why her father would want her to be evil, but Lilith reassures her that she can accomplish the task within 2 days. At school, Melody and Daria welcome Greta into their group when she offers them her mother's knitted dresses. Carlos also becomes more amicable towards Greta and appears to have developed genuine feelings for her. Just as he's about to kiss her, Lilith intervenes. She pulls him aside and calls off their agreement because she doesn't want Greta to get hurt. However, Carlos insists that his feelings for Greta are authentic. He confesses to Greta about the arrangement he had with Lilith and apologizes. Greta is deeply hurt when she discovers that Lilith had been paying Carlos to end their relationship. Lilith apologizes and admits that she was supposed to carry out an evil act, but Greta walks away without uttering a word. Shortly after, Samuel urgently calls Lilith to meet him at the beach. He had initially planned to leave school and relocate to Berlin, but after meeting Lilith, he decides to stay in town. When Lilith realizes that Samuel has fallen in love with her, she panics. She tells him that encountering him was the worst thing that ever happened to her and leaves abruptly. It's evident that she has feelings for him, but she doesn't want her father to perceive her as weak. Later, she boards the school bus and shares what transpired with Greta. Seeing Lilith in tears, Greta forgives her and tries to comfort her. Lilith also reveals the truth about the black ball and confesses that she has failed the test. The two share a hug for the first time, and Greta vows to prevent Lilith's father from taking her away. The next day is scheduled for the school program. The devil arrives to assess whether his daughter Lilith has accomplished her mission. Greta, Carlos, Melody, and Daria have conspired to play a prank on the principal for not allowing them to perform. The principal initiates the program by discussing his recent journey to Africa. As he speaks, Carlos displays pictures of him relieving himself in public. Embarrassed, the principal exits the stage and prompts the next performers to proceed with the show. Eddie and his band begin to play the violin, but they are forced to flee midway because Melody and Daria had filled their clothes with popping candy. When the show is disrupted, Carlos's band steps in to help. Greta, along with Melody and Daria, performs a captivating song that excites the audience. After the performance, Greta expresses her gratitude to Lilith for all her help. The devil takes Lilith aside and commends her performance. He assumes that she was the one who encouraged Greta to prank the principal and the band. He also notices that her black ball has reverted to its original color. The devil grants Lilith permission to remain in the town to spread evil. After he departs, Greta meets with Lilith and discloses that it was her scheme all along to ensure Lilith stayed in the town. She also admits to painting the black ball with nail polish to prevent her father from suspecting anything. Shortly after, Lilith rushes to meet Samuel and prevents him from boarding a train to Berlin. She confesses her love for him and they share a passionate kiss. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.